Hello, friends, neighbors, countrymen, countrywomen, foreigners, aliens, both from another planet and from another life. Alien brothers from another mother and from the same mother. Welcome. Tonight we ask the provocative question, what's your Brian Wilson's shortening bread? If you're not familiar with Brian Wilson's shortening bread, well, let me explain something to you that you may not know. Brian Wilson engaged in a years long obsession with the song Shortening Bread. Yes, it's true. He declared it, in fact, the greatest song ever written. And he recorded multiple versions of Shortening Bread, um, unreleased, and was really, I think you might say, an evangelist, a pro Shortening Bread evangelist. He he really sung the praises and explained to people, hey, you're missing out. When's the last time you've listened to Shortening Bread? Years he spent obsessing about this song, recording multiple versions of it. Yes, that's Shortening Bread. Mama likes shortening, shortening, shortening. Mama likes shortening, shortening bread. That song. Now, if you Google shortening bread, what you conclude is that shortening bread used to be uh, considered a black people product. Because all the old, everything, if you Google shortening bread, it pops up with all these old product labels that are um, just like very like old racist product labels. You know, like for example, if I were to change this from this one to the original that I put Brian Wilson's picture over, you see it's a little bit racist. But uh, I changed it to be Brian Wilson because I guarantee you, Brian Wilson was more obsessed with shortening bread than any self identified black person ever was in history, or anybody else for that matter. Oh, see you later, Gen Xio. Sleep well. I want you to dream of shortening bread. Remember, everybody in their life has their own Brian Wilson shortening bread. For some, Brian Wilson's shortening bread is the song Shortening Bread. If you're Brian Wilson, for example. Maybe for you, Brian Wilson's shortening bread is um, that African violet you keep trying to grow. Maybe he looks like a combination of Mia and Mia. Okay, well, I will look at it, I suppose. Let's see what it looks like. What does that mean, a combination of us? I mean, oh, he does look like, I see.
That's so
Physically, he
weird.
looks like
Half and half.
a combination of the two of us, yeah. I see what you're saying. That's funny. That's, I kind of want to, like, clip it and put it, if host Eric and Frank James made a baby,
Yeah.
made a 40-year-old baby, 45-year-old baby. If host Eric and Frank James made a 45-year-old baby. Save as capture. Yes, I want to replace the existing capture. I would love to do that. Thank you for asking. Alright, now I'm going to do this right now so it actually gets done. If host Eric and Frank James made a 45-year-old baby. capture. Where are ya? Right there. And done and done. So, it looks like you had an impact on the world. Your time on this planet was not wasted,
Wow.
Hambone. You had a real impact. You made an impact that that changed everyone's life because it means that I included that picture in the community tab. Was Brian Wilson in the band? Brian Wilson was the Beach Boys' uh, main guy, but he may not have been playing live when Gen Xio saw them.
that's
Or he
what
may have
I
been playing
wanted to
live
know.
again, yeah.
Yeah, like I know that they did split for like a little while and then he came back. But I don't know when.
The important thing to note, though, is that he's showing us all something important about life by revealing that we need to find, if we haven't found it yet, we need to find our own Brian Wilson shortening bread. Maybe for Hambone, his Brian Wilson shortening bread will be finding pictures of people who look like me crossed with somebody else, and then
Yeah.
and then I'll put them up in the community tab. Maybe that's his shortening bread. Maybe that's the rest of his life. That would be a life well spent. Maybe Gen Xio's Brian Wilson shortening bread is the ISTP show that comes on every week, that he puts on every Monday from now on. It's called ISTP Hooray, the weekly podcast, or something like that. And
Oh yeah.
this guy's name must be Chad Mannington Dickens. Sky Gear, I need to apologize to you. My FI, you were the victim of my FI the other day, unfairly, completely unfairly, so I apologize for that. It doesn't happen very often, but occasionally I'm in an FI mood, and somebody who doesn't deserve it gets yelled at, like as was the case with you. My bad. O'Brien the Gen Xio. Well, you know what? Maybe that conversation was your Brian Wilson shortening bread. I know, Sky Gear. I know you don't care, but I like to be. I don't like to have like wrongnesses of my part not explicitly stated by me, so that then if somebody else eventually points it out, I can say I actually addressed that in a video on June 13th or whatever. What date is it? Oh, you know what's really exciting to me? What's really very exciting, actually, 14th, is Corey called me and or texted me, and I called him, and we're gonna hang out tomorrow.
That's fun.
I'm really excited about that.
Me too. But we can only see part of your face. Oh no, there you are.
I'm back and better than ever. You know, FI is involved because I just absolutely shut down and fell silent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the start of the shake guy. That's how you know FI is involved. I had nothing to say there for a moment. I just had to sit there and process. It's kind of a big deal for something that I've not really thought about it all day long. Something about the whole experience makes me want to cry. Like that. It's obvious that we're both well past whatever difficulties we ever had. It's just a matter of us muggity meowing. I'm excited by the fact that Rachel knows him much better than he knows Rachel, right? Like, Rachel's familiar with his music and has heard all my stories about him and stuff, so there's this kind of gratifying dynamic involved in that as well, where somebody I've talked about a lot. Probably, you know, I can't think of anybody else I talk about that's not in my life very much. It's like, with him, I certainly have talked about plenty, and I guess I have feelings or something. I don't know, like emotions. There's a sense of there's a sense of like culture shock within the self from adjusting to thinking of something that's backburnered, moving it into something that's more serious. Uh, where's his mom? May I say thank you for these, by the way? These are fantastic. I absolutely love them. I'm going to definitely do shit with them, for sure. These are fantastic. And all these whiteboard colors and everything. Spectacular. Thank you. Good night, the Gen X Eel. Sky Gear, can you run over to Gen X Eel's house and tuck him in? Please. He's feeling a little bit. He's having trouble going to sleep tonight. His nightlight is broken. He's requested I send a representative over to help him. Maybe sing him a lullaby. They've got cars big as bars, they've got rivers as gold. The wind blows like trees, and a place for the old. When you first took my hand on that cold Christmas Eve, you promised me Broadway was waiting for me. You were handsome, you were pretty, queen of New York City. The boys of the NYPD choir are still singing Galway Bay, and the bands are ringing out for Christmas Day. A lullaby of New York. You know a country has failed capitalism when a government's institution's payment system doesn't work and you can't even give them your money? I mean, I wouldn't call that failed capitalism. It's a government institution. It's more like failed publicism. Failed pubis. That's my superhero name. Failed pubis. I cause villains' pubic bones to disintegrate. Well, Mithra Semiramis, I will tell you, if you don't know, Brian Wilson is not just somebody you've loved since you were 6. He's also somebody who himself was massively obsessed for years with the song Shortening Bread. Recorded multiple versions of it unreleased, and informed everybody that it was the greatest song ever written. So maybe Brian Wilson is your Brian Wilson Shortening Bread.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Mithra? Huh? Could be.
Like, I think that, Hey Jude is my shortening bread.
Kind of, also, it's like, we all have minor shortening breads. Like, one of your minor shortening breads is LCD Sound System.
Yeah.
You're a big fan of LCD Sound System. One of my shortening breads, I would say, is the pew 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 song with the cat.
And Falco.
Yeah. Also, sure, Dear Commissar is definitely one of my shortening breads.
Yeah.
Heroes and Villains, I guess, would be one of your shortening breads. Mithra Semiramis. Heroes and Villains. I don't think I'm familiar with that song. Call Me Maybe is kind of my Brian Wilson shortened bread. Like somebody would go around sort of evangelizing. Call Me Maybe is the greatest pop song ever or something, you know.
Yeah.
It is a pretty goddamn great pop song.
It is a great pop song. When that song came out, like, I wanted to not like it because it was so popular, but it was so good. Just so catchy and gets stuck in your head, and it's such a positive, like, pop song.
Well, it creates just the right amount of dissonance across the board. So, in other words, it's the lyrics are a succession of undermining the thing before it. You know, like I just met you, and this is crazy. But here's my number, so call me. Maybe, right? It's like everything is contradicting the thing before it in a way that creates a tension narratively, and then, of course, just in terms of the melody and song construction and stuff, and the way that the strings go, it's just a brilliantly put together song. The Fantastic Mr. Fox, I never saw that movie. It's about a clever ENTP fox, huh? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mithra. I listened to that song back when I was a teenager, so I remember almost all the words to it. I could almost sing the whole thing. Songs that I learn now, or hear now, or start listening to a lot now, I don't typically retain the words like I did when I was a teenager. I don't typically listen to the words as much, I guess, because I listen less as a listener and more as a producer of music, I guess. It's a stop-motion film created by ENFP director Wes Anderson. You think Wes Anderson's an ENFP? I hope you're right. If you're right, then I could have an example of an ENFP that I respect their work. I mean, I have another example of an ENFP whose work I respect, which is, I think she's ENFP. She might be I, but is Fiona Apple. I respect certain of her things, you know. Of course, she fell apart after. Is he dead now? That guy's got to be dead by now, right? Shane MacGowan? He was such a drunk that there's no way he could possibly still be alive. Unless he quit drinking. I did once say that ENFPs are the real genius in EDOM. I have no idea why I would have said that. I don't think that. I was just trying to be nice, maybe, or something. I don't know. It doesn't sound like me. Are you sure I didn't say they're the real bean lust in EDOMs? Because they are the type that's most likely to enjoy beans a lot. I probably said bean lust and you misheard genius. Oh, well, yeah. Leonardo da Vinci is... Yeah, sure. Okay. So the thing is, that's true. When you're talking about Leonardo da Vinci shit, he's an ENFP. How do you know he's an ENFP? Because he did a bunch of TE shit plus a bunch of NE shit, which is kind of unique to, on the NE, with the NE front anyway, first, and the way that's genuinely creative is unique to ENFPs. They're the only type that really has both NE and TE in a place where they can operate through an NE angle, like ESTJ doesn't. So an ENTJ doesn't, and INFP doesn't, and INTP doesn't. Yeah. So it's just ENFP who actually can ideate about TE shit, really. And that makes them the kind of genius that is like... ancient world inventions and stuff, you know. There's a great flick about Brian Wilson's life and career called Love and Mercy. Huh, I'd be interested to see that. The thing is, I remember him. What kind of got me looking into it tonight was we watched some video that they clickbaited me enough to want to watch a little bit of it, which is some old footage of recording sessions, black and white, of the Beatles recording, not the Beatles, the Beach Boys recording, I think, Pet Sounds, or maybe a different album or something.
Yeah, it was Pet Sounds.
So I'm not very impressed with Tyler, the Creator. So there's that. But, but then, you know, I kind of like Childish Gambino, who's an ENTP. You can tell if Childish Gambino is an ENTP, not an ENFP. Right, ENFPs are genius, can be genius as long as they don't attempt to do philosophy, right? Then they're just absolute toxic waste dump fly in my ointment. And it's just like, okay, this is not where you're capable of operating. It's like me trying to invent a flying machine. It's not going to happen, Eric. You're going to die. You're going to jump off the roof with your so-called flying machine, and you're going to fall like a rock to the ground and die. You know, ENFPs end up being good sculptors, good, like, creative mechanic type people. Unfortunately, the world doesn't give a lot of people the opportunity to perform in that area anymore. So most of the physical world stuff that needs to be invented has all long since been invented. And to the extent that invention is still possible, it's beyond the scope of third slot TE. It's locked squarely into the realm of first slot TE. In other words, it's all minor improvements on existing concepts and stuff. So they're kind of screwed like that. They could be successful as, say, a sculptor or potentially an architect or something like that, which allows their expert intuition to link in with their expert thinking. But like all action types, they're not particularly reliable and don't have particularly good follow-through. So, like a lot of ESTPs, ESFPs, ENTPs, and ENFPs, a fairly large percentage of them are going to blow up before they ever reach maturity enough such that, you know, it's like if you blow up too many possible courses of action, or, you know, life courses early on in life, then what you end up later on with is not really very well defined. I think a lot of action types. The lyrics for which song? Why does Brian's shirt remind me of high school auto shop textbook images? This is Brian. He's made a mistake. He's tried to clean out the carburetor with his finger while the engine's running. Safety first here at Auto Shop. Like a auto shop safety instruction video.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
My favorite PNB.
from what I can tell, Winston's mom, Brian Wilson is in part a story about how mental illness is totally treatable. So, you know, he's sane because he has a conventional doctor. For quite a stretch of time there, he had this like new agey doctor who was trying to cure him of his mental illness medicine free, and it was just making him crazier and crazier. And so it's like a few lessons from Brian Wilson's story. If you have problems with mental illness, don't drop a shit ton of acid. Not a good idea. Okay.
Yeah.
Lesson number 1. Lesson number 2. If you have a mental illness, go to a psychiatrist who gives you regular drugs made by pharmaceutical companies.
Well,
There's work a lot better than magical techniques like
Yeah.
meditation and riding your bike and eating healthy or whatever.
See, it's really interesting because the film that's like about his life, they basically said he had a manager who used to like when he was under these like phases where he couldn't even think for himself, like who would give him extra drugs so he was like under a buttload of
He was on all kinds of weird,
yeah
not prescribed drugs. He was
yeah
on all kinds of every drugs. Well, the thing is, RDL. That's why I predicated it with if you have a mental illness. Yes, it is. It is a bad idea to do shit tons of acid.
yeah
Now, if you are totally not prone to mental illness, and certainly I'm not, then you can probably do a decent amount of acid without it having any particular impacts on your mental health. But that's something that I think is sketchy for people who do have an actual like an actual mental illness as opposed to like a disorder or something, right? Something where you have psychotic breaks, then it's probably not a good idea to do acid. Well, too much anyway. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to speak for everybody who has mental illness. I don't have it, so why would I be speaking for them? But it just seems to me that you got to be a little bit more careful about what head drugs you do if you have some sort of tendency towards psychosis. What if you do buttloads of acid instead? Well, that'd be better. I think it goes a pinch, a nub, a handful of grip, a buttload, a shitload, a crapload. No, a buttload, a crapload, a shitload. A fuckload, a fuck ton. No, then a shit ton, then a fuck ton.
a smidge. Thank you, Winston's mom. Fuck son.
Winston's mom quotes Brian Wilson saying, "I think I need the demons in order to write, but the demons have gone. It bothers me a lot. I've tried and tried, but I just can't seem to find the melody." I mean, it seems pretty clear to me that Brian Wilson is an NI user. NI DOM or NI tool. Either INFJ or ENFJ. And so that makes sense, right? Like, he's saying he feels as though he's lost his intuition.
Yeah.
I don't, it's like, that to me, I can't conceive of it because I'm not receiving melodies. I'm sluicing sand from a riverbed. You know, it's a different process. Skyger says, I'd like to introduce people who haven't watched JCS Criminal Psychology to this fantastic German song. Is that the name? So is that the name of this song, JCS Criminal Psychology? I would assume that would be the name of a channel about criminal psychology or something, but perhaps not. So I quoted this quote from Rousseau when I was doing standardized test prep the other day, because it struck me how much it's informative to about my own nature and stuff. He says here, as for adopting the ways which the state has provided for remedying the evil, I know not of such ways. They take too much time, and a man's life will be gone. I have other affairs to attend to. I came into this world not chiefly to make this a good place or a bad place to live in, but to live in it, be it good or bad. So the thing is, I totally agree with that last sentence, but for me, it's not the case that I know not of such ways. I do know incredibly well of such ways, and so I'm the exception to this basic tenet that I agree with in general for most people, which is it's inadequate to say if a given state of affairs creates a legal injustice that that everybody has an obligation first and foremost to remedy the evil via the existing means provided by the state for such. Well, that's an unrealistic thing for most people. So I find I find this a much more honest perspective than Lincoln's, which was contrasted against this essay in the test. Anywho,
Do you like that I heat you up some chicken nuggets?
um, I would like a two frozen burritos.
Sure.
That'd be great. Thank you, darling. You're a wonderful lady whose wonderful ways remind me of wonder.
Oh, thank you.
The song's name is Panzermensch, huh? Panzermensch, oh Panzermensch, what are they feeding you? Alright. I'm going to listen to a little bit of this. I'm going to mute myself so I don't get copyrighted. I'm going to mute all of them, yeah. I forgot to see I forgot to check the settings. That might have played the song. I don't know.
Right now, how many for two?
Uh, I think it's. What I don't remember either.
A minute 30.
I'd say put them in for 3 minutes. Flip it over halfway. Okay, good. It didn't play through the speakers, so I can do that, and you can't hear it. That's good to know. Alright, so I'm going to mute myself again briefly and listen to this. Okay, so here's the Google Translate of those lyrics. Your steps are so beautiful. Let's see that again. Our looks are so strong. Everyone dances as I say it. Weak legs, stay standing, tank man. Let's celebrate the energy. This power never disappears. Computer, machine, tank man. Go. Go straight ahead. Go straight ahead, computer, machine, tank man. Go straight ahead. Let it out. We fight for the triumphant advance. Tank people. Never get enough wars. Are there to dance our freedom. It's so close, computer, machine, tank man. Go straight ahead, computer, machine, tank man. Go straight ahead. Wow, that's some real poetry. Makes me want to become a computer, machine, tank man. Yeah, I don't want to be Michelle shocked by a result again. it's a pretty cool song.
Yeah, it is.
I like it. It's fine. It's so like. I like it. It's funny, you know. Okay, let's see. It is 9:36 now. I'm only going to live stream for about 1 hour tonight, so I'm going to end this right or a little before 10 or right around 10 because I need to move some things out of the bedroom tonight before before Rachel goes to sleep because the carpet cleaning people are coming in are coming in to clean the house tomorrow. When did I become an ISTJ? Yesterday I became an ISTJ. All my troubles, they seemed pretty far away. Now they're relatively closer comparatively to how they seemed prior. That's when I became ISTJ. Why? She said something. I don't know. What could she have said? Was it, I think, you have become an ISTJ from looking at your head? Those are the original lyrics to Yesterday by Paul McCartney. He changed them up, though, to make it less MBTI focused. I should do a TWFP cover version of that German song. If we're going to cover any German song, I cover Der Kommissar. Eat some bread, please. Well, this isn't bread. Those are burritos. There's no bread in them. They're entirely bread-free. To paraphrase several sages, nobody can think and hit someone at the same time. That's so false. It is true that nobody can make good arguments while boxing. I'm not ESTP anymore, Eric. Did Queen's Gambit finally win? Did Queen's Gambit say I wasn't an ESTP? I never was an ESTP as far as I know. One good thing about music, when it hits you, you feel no pain. I don't agree with that quote either. It depends on the song, right? Some songs are some pain is sweet. I would say Bob Marley's statement is an FE user statement. But, not everything that makes you cry is sad or painful, really. Music is what feelings sound like. One of the most interesting, answers to the question, what is music, is there's this scene in this movie about Beethoven, the composer, in which I'm getting distracted. So anyway, Beethoven says to this other guy who's like saying meow meow meow, saying some bullshit, and he says to the other guy, "What is music?" And he goes, "Why, it's that which is noble and enlists the spirit." I have a bunch of bullshit he says, right? And he goes, "No, what is this right here?" And then there's this like Beethoven song playing, right? And he says, "It's the sound of a man whose carriage is stuck in the mud, and his lover is waiting for him, but she will only wait so long. And he's doing everything he can frantically to get the carriage moving, but he's increasingly losing hope that he's gonna be able to resolve this issue in time." That's such a beautiful NI description of music. It's like, that's what that is, And for people who make music for movies, what you might call soundtrack stuff, not soundtrack, but score, right? So soundtrack is like songs that play in a movie, but a score is the like orchestral stuff that goes along mood wise with what's happening in the film. That's very NI music making. How does seal relate to grass? I mean, I don't know what that question is. How does seal relate to grass? I don't know what that means. I don't think John Lennon was an ENTP. I think he was an FI user for sure. I think he was INFP, possibly ENFP. Oh, I see. I guess I get what you're asking. Music is the one incorporeal entrance into the higher world of knowledge which comprehends mankind, but which mankind cannot comprehend. That is so true. Oh my God. Music comprehends mankind, but mankind cannot comprehend music. And just like Brian Wilson says, he's no longer confined to melody. It's, you know, the thing about NI, right? It's, uh, when the NI user is open on all the right channels to the right kind of things, then then they'll receive quote unquote melodic truths whole, unbidden. Whereas that's to the extent that that happens to me, I'm completely unaware of it. It's more like I have no idea how melodies come about. They just come about. I had an interesting phenomenon today listening to this. Well, listening to actually the interesting phenomenon included three things. So, well, the first thing was I listened to the SE freestyle that Jen Axial talked about in the live stream I did with him. And the second thing was I listened to this songwriting idea I had come up with or was working on a bit maybe a week ago or something that that for whatever reason I remembered and wanted to see what it sounded like. Now after I listened to that, there's a part in it that prompted me to immediately sing this melody from another freestyle of mine that I made some time back called Cloudy Day in Los Angeles. And I listened to that. Um, it's they're probably, and I concluded since they're probably two distinct songs. Goodbye, Mithra. Thanks for stopping by. Um, the the point of this being that first of all, what I concluded is I'm confused by people's enthusiasm for the SE freestyle song because I listened to it and what I know is that that's not one of my better freestyles. That at the end of the day, but that's my metric on evaluating freestyles, which is I want the best freestyle to be like a complete song that I freestyle from start to finish in arrangement as well as everything else, you know? It almost never happens. It's almost impossible to do, frankly. Oh, thanks, Winston Mom. Parker Tart Lemon Squeeze? Yeah. Parker Tart Lemon Squeeze, for those of you who don't know, he's a gentleman who's got half of a lemon for a head, cut so that the biggest part of the circle is facing out, you know. And he's got two basic strategies in life. Whenever there's a problem, strategy number one, we should try using something tart. And strategy number two, we should try using something sour. And if strategy number two doesn't work, he goes back to strategy number one. Well, have you tried using something tart? Yeah, well, that's the thing, Winston. That's what I'm getting at here is, from my listening, that was not a good freestyle. And the thing is, it's like he was being impressed by just the raw capacity of any to keep going without major stumbles or whatever, right? But in that regard, he was showing an external absolute value of extroverted intuition, um, that's it's overvaluing it. Like, if you listen to the song "Cloudy Day in Los Angeles," it's a freestyle. It's a much better. It's a much better freestyle. It's one of the best ones I've done. I think I can tell when it's a good one because um, it sticks in my head and I can't stop singing it. So this this qualifies as such. I'll find the link to it. All right, so let me do this when I play it. Piggity pow, pewgity pew, pewgity pew, and a pow 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 piggity pew. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna stop the mic when the song starts playing. Oh, it's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles. Everybody knows that means it's the best. Cloudy times, cloudy overviews. What you got to lose? Those aren't any kind of shoes. Cloudy day in Los Angeles doesn't make me so bad. Cloudy day in Los Angeles, I'm not feeling very sad at all. Everything is super and good, and I'm surprised. Even those accustomed to good times, I said, cloudy day in Los Angeles, cloudy day at home. If you don't know where you ought to go, you will see endlessly long. If you don't know where you wanna go home, you're gonna endlessly roam. Okay, so here's some thoughts I had while listening to that, which is one of the reasons why people, Gen X Zero and Winston's Mom like that SE song is because it's much more well executed from a listening perspective. Like the lyrics are more attended to. This song is more just for like man, 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 singing the melody line. I'm evaluating these things from a songwriting perspective. Like that's a pretty much a complete song right there. There's a little bit you would have to cut from the arrangement of it, but it's almost a complete done song that sticks in my head. So in that regard, even if I executed it badly, I'm gonna think, or if I executed it in ways that weren't very listener friendly, like I didn't focus very much on the words. That other song was very pleasant to listen to in the sense that it was a sort of a pleasant westerny roll along kind of a vibe, you know. No, that was since I moved here to Arcadia again, so it was. I believe when my mom was still here, though, probably a year and a half ago. There's something else. Oh, this. Are you talking about this? I haven't even opened this yet. I don't even know what it is. There's like famous intellect people or whatever, such as Mary Wollstonecraft. Mary Wollstonecraft.
I wouldn't be able to guess that one.
I don't know what she's been up to. She's a political theorist from England who escaped an oppressive and abusive household to seek her own education and eventually became a writer and philosopher. Her unwed motherhood and radical politics were considered shocking, yet she defended women's abilities and argued that their success was crucial in the formation of a good society. It's like, hey, listen, I get it. I have a vagina. You guys need to stop making that determinant on all issues. It's a little bit frustrating, okay? Imagine if I determined all issues in my life on whether you had a penis. Oh, you can't ride a horse because you have a penis. It'll get squashed by the horse. That's what I'd say. You wouldn't like that, huh? Alright. Listen, sweetheart. You just don't worry your pretty little head about it. I'll do the thinking for both of us. And from then on, she was finally a happy, satisfied woman.
Oh, wow.
Unwed motherhood. You know what that means. She loved the D.
Oh.
Ooh, yeah. Might not be that kind of seal. It could be ripping the seal off of a new package. Could be ripping Seal, the musical artist.
That's what I was thinking.
Off
Seal
by taking his music and doing copyright piratey things.
That's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's where my Annie went. My Annie goes strange places.
Well, it could be ripping Seal, like ripping him a new one. Seal, you better back the fuck up. I don't know who you think you're dealing with, but
There's the drum.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, cool.
A drum? Like an oil drum? Well, I've eaten this burrito. I only have 5 minutes left. I think I'm going to play a couple little songs here real quick. Oh, we need to see. Oh, we need to know. Oh, we need to pen happenings down by some means to judge a logic to life we divisively unlike and from which we'll rarely budge. People everywhere gather up, enemies outraged at how they miss a sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities, ensuing heartache and misery, follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insults in courts and in Desiree, we're stuck in such petty larceny. We all partition the rectories and call it destruction of the whole damn world. Shares now her limits, hoping Julie will too. Jerry shares just can't share things like they do. And Judy always thought that she should have bought two when she had the chance to buy. Julie soon forgot about should and ought, although she ought recall she'll die. People everywhere gather up, enemies outraged at how they missed a sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities into win heartache and misery follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting, cursing, and misery, we're stuck in such petty larceny. We all partition the rectories and call it destruction of the whole damn world. Boom. The next song we will be playing today is called Nah.
We have one for fucker tar lemons, please.
I shall play it. I shall indeed. Too much noise in the deadest dream, loud enough to disrupt everybody's dreams. Frustrations mean mistakes are made until it seems everybody's just throwing shade. I won't be another casualty of other people's well-intentioned rules. I used to think that some tomorrow there'd be time for yesterday. It's not the sort of thing that one can borrow. No one willing to lend a day. Your uncertainty's implicit, just like an unexpected visit from a bunch of men all dressed in blue suits. I won't be another casualty of other people's well-intentioned rules. I used to think that some tomorrow there'd be time for yesterday. Well, that song still continues to fight against me a little bit, but you know how it goes. I'm going to play Brooding, then I'm going to play Purgatory, and I'll play International Light and call it a night. Just brooding here won't do any good, but brooding's more and more my style. I seek the cheery ways of singing where we stood, 'cause I've been stuck here a while. That's despite a natural selfishness that makes it easy to have fun, but flutters in the gut become a fist as all my visions come undone. I tried to stream, distract, and dream the afternoon away, but heavy new realities bear down on every day, and for a bit I am out of it, for reasons still unsaid, but still I need get out of me what's inside my head. It seems like everybody's so sensitive and ready to just get mad. I seek the civil ways of living like a kid, 'cause who wants to be the dad? We lost our sense of scope and scale, our capacity to laugh. the sense to know when not to wail, and how to tip the golden calf. I tried to stream, distract, and dream the afternoon away, but heavy new realities bear down on every day, and for a bit I am out of it, for reasons still unsaid. But still I need get out of me what's inside my head. And still I'm sad, so sad for me, sad for her, unhappily. And what you call sorrow, I call home. Blues that sink clear down to the bone, down to the bone. Still I'm sad, so sad for me, sad for her, unhappily, unhappily. You call sorrow, I call home. Blues that sink clear down to the bone. And yes, I'm talking about my cock. Blues sink all the way down to my cock. It's as far as they can possibly sink.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like midway. Kinda.
They don't go any lower than that. You know why? Because that part of me blocks them. You could say it cock blocks them.
Oh, clever.
Oh, well, he's pucker tart, lemon squeeze, friendliest guy that you will see. Yes, he wants to be your friend, but he comes from around the bend, and it'll be a while till he sees you again. He's pucker tart, lemon squeeze, he's a friend to you and me. He's international delight's favorite go-to right-hand guy. He's international like him, but he's also busy like his friend, the beaver bee. Busiest creature, busy as a bee, busy as a beaver, and so much busier than pucker tart, lemon squeeze. Yes, he's pucker tart, lemon squeeze, shabba-doo-ba-ba-ba-ba-doo-da. Pucker tart, lemon squeeze, shabba-doo-ba-day. Yes, he's pucker tart, lemon squeeze, shabba-doo-ba-ba-ba-ba-doo-da. Pucker tart, lemon squeeze, shabba-doo-ba-day. And if you go to visit him for starts, remember to bring something sour or tart. He's not a fan of sugary treats because he's pucker tart and not pucker sweet. Well, he's pucker tart, lemon squeeze, friendliest guy that you will see. Yes, he wants to be your friend, but he comes from around the bend, and it will be a while till he sees you again. Pucker tart, lemon squeeze, he's a friend to you and me. He's international delight's favorite go-to right-hand guy. He's international like him, but he's also busy like his friend, the beaver bee. Busiest creature, busy as a bee, busy as a beaver, and so much busier than pucker tart, lemon squeeze. I completely fucked up the ending, but besides that, I played it well. This one, I'm having more trouble figuring out how I'm gonna play. I come from a country far across the sea where all of the people are alright. That's why all the people are always calling me the International Delight. I may not have a satchel, but then again I might, and I'm unfailingly polite. That's why all the people, when they have me in their sight, say there's the International Delight. With his friend Pucker Tart, Lemon Squeeze, and his friend to the Beaver Bee. Wendy Muriel brings her contingent too, and they and all their friends will do it for you. I'm rarely irrational. There's no reason for fright, though I am often in flight. That's why all the people, when they look up at a kite, say there's the international. May not have a satchel, though he's rarely irrational. The international daylight. I'm still pretty sloppy, but getting there. Okay.
I think you're a talented man.
Thanks, Rachel, my sweet potato darling pants. Maker of all varieties of cheese.
Thank you.
I will say that was a pretty good take of Pucker Tart right there.
Yeah.
And I really love the fact that that song was incomplete until just the other day when I added that great bridge that works just perfectly in there. With it, Pucker Tart, not Pucker Sweet. It's just like, I really like that part. It brings the whole thing together. Anyway, I'm going to call it a night. Thanks for being here. Appreciate your attention and your visitations and such and words. Have a great evening. Sleep well. And don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.